What's going on, guys? I'm about to start doing some editing because I have to get a video up tonight as I'm filming this. But in this video, we are going to be doing a lot of work on Anthony's S14. Since I got to go edit, I'm going to pass you on to Anthony and he's going to play Vlogger for a little bit.
Kia ora koutou. Spot welding. Lots of spot welding. So I'm getting just... I forget how to English. Right, so I'm getting all prepped to start the stitch welding for the underside of the strut tower. But before I can do that, I'm gonna remove all the under seal. So I've gone through now, taken off all the under seal and the seam sealer. We're gonna be stitch welding right around here and right around all these seams. Yay, heaps of fun. I've just finished up on stitch welding this whole side of the car, and while I was doing it, I forgot to record it, but I had a bit of a dilemma. I had a big piece of spatter essentially drop down into my pants and hit the no-no zone, so that wasn't very fun. Yeah, nah, don't want to do that one again because that hurt a lot. But we're gonna move on to the other side, and I'm just gonna time lapse that. It's turned out all right. Some of them are a bit how you going looking, but it'll do the job.
Finished up my editing now. For reference, I was editing first comp video. I spent quite a long time on that, all up probably about 3.5 hours putting it all together. Pretty happy with how it's turned out, so I hope you guys liked it as well. Anthony's done a pretty good job finishing up all of the stitch welding on the front end now. It's done all in here and same with the other side. Now we're gonna finish off doing what we started doing the other night, and that is cutting the tunnel. So we realized that we're not gonna get away with leaving this there. We bashed it, heated it up with the blowtorch, bashed it some more, and yeah, we just could not get the gearbox to fit. This Navara box is just such a chunky boy, but like you.
All the money, mate.
So we're gonna cut the rest of this tunnel out, and then we're gonna mock the engine and gearbox in it. Gonna be good to see the engine and box sort of resting in place in this.
Yeah, it's gonna get pulled back out and won't go on for a while.
At least it'll be cool to see it in there.
Yeah, I'll sit there and imagine my Cinco manifold that you stole and...
Do you know what we could do though?
What's that?
I've got my old hybrid manifold over there, so we could just mock that up on the motor and then put your big spoolie boy on it and just see what it looks like in there.
Yep.
Let's do things.
Are you cutting or am I cutting?
I'll cut, you can film.
Oh, sure. Your grinder's already in there. You just need safety boy gear.
Yeah, I'm actually going to wear my ear muffs unlike you.
No, I don't need them. I'm already going deaf.
That's why you wear them, so you don't go even more deaf.
Why would I want to listen to your bullshit, mate?
Oh, we should actually probably drill out this first. Probably just a couple of spot welds on that.
Oh, yeah.
So, we just made 2 holes. Oh well. More shit to weld up.
F's in chat for my trans tunnel. Gonski.
Now we got the rest of the tunnel cut out. It's just rough cut at the moment. We're gonna go through and tidy this up. One of my mates, Josh, has actually hit us up. He watched the video from the other day where we started cutting out the tunnel, and he's said that he's keen to fabricate us a new one up. And
Joel doesn't like tomatoes. Fucking weird one.
Tomatoes can suck my... Right, let's get the motor in. Come on, Crane.
Oh, I need to go to the gym. This engine's so rear heavy, it takes forever just to get the gearbox off the ground. Ow. What'd you do? That was stupid. Maybe just don't do that. It's like when you're drifting and you're about to go off track, just don't. Or when you're in a battle and like you're losing, just win. That's my life advice. Just be better.
I'll take that on board.
Yep. Just sit there and meditate and then continue to understand. You'll win every battle. Oh, you jacking the car up again.
Oh my god. But then again, the motor I think is actually quite a lot higher than where it's actually going to sit.
Yeah, I'd say 100% is. Where's that knob sit?
Yeah, about there. Yeah, that just sits on the bottom. It's like right above it, so yeah, just literally come down. It's in position.
Yeah. Doesn't fit in the trans tunnel still.
Doesn't?
I'm looking at the sides now.
Oh yeah. Probably wouldn't have to cut more, probably just have to bash. Unless it, what do you reckon it's hitting further down too? Because it's definitely hitting up here.
Yeah, so it's heading right down here to about there.
Yeah. I mean, like we're getting Josh to fabricate a new tunnel, so there's no harm in cutting lower down. Yeah, we're sort of touching just in here as well.
Yeah.
And it's sort of still touching a little bit down there, but I don't actually think the gearbox is as high as it actually needs to go. It's a lot better sitting than it was the other night.
Yeah, last night was painful. We couldn't even get it anywhere near sitting in the subframe.
We're heading in the right direction. Anthony put the factory Navara shifter in here just for shits and gigs. It sits so damn high. Sit in it again.
Ow! That was stupid. Maybe just don't do that. I'll be roughly sitting like this, so it's quite a bit of movement.
Yeah, and where your handbrake's going to be, it's going to be annoying as well.
Yeah, also not good for very fast shifting because it is so long.
Yeah.
So if it's shorter, it'll be a way shorter throw.
Idea that I think we'll end up doing is we'll cut the shifter from about there and we'll just weld our own little bit on, make it a bit shorter.
Yeah.
It'll do the tahi. So now we're going to take this engine and gearbox back out, cut a little bit more of the tunnel just to get it fitting a bit better. We'll chuck it back in and then yeah, we'll probably mock a manifold and turbo up on it and just see what this thing looks like with the turbo and manifold on, but it's looking pretty sick already. It's cool seeing the fully forged 25 dent neo in here. Be making a little bit less power in this car, but it'll still be shitload more than mine.
Yeah, more motor than your car. I mean, if I really wanted, I could push the same power, but I don't need it. And never mind, I need it. All right, 700 horsepower in ethanol. Actually, no, we'll go 800.
You could literally throw that turbo back on it with a beefier clutch and ethanol and make 800 horsepower like that.
Can't afford that kind of tyres.
Yeah, nah, bugger that.
Nah.
550 is going to be plenty.
Even 550 is like too much for a first drift car, but
Oh, it's way too much. But you are going to be running a low boost setting of 450 for a bit.
yeah, I'm also just like professional as, you know. So
Quite a few hours on now. I can't even remember where we're at with this video. Tonight I went to upload the video of the comp and processing just wouldn't work, couldn't get the video up. So we've done a hectic live stream that went on for like 2 hours. So if you guys joined into that, appreciate everyone that stuck around. Probably gonna look at doing more lives because that was actually pretty cool. The 2 hours went by pretty quick. But we're back now working on Anthony's S14. we've cut out a whole lot more of the tunnel. We cut out all up around there. We cut out more around here too, because the shifter is gonna lie about here. The factory shifter's here. So when we make up the tunnel, this will now be enclosed, and yeah, it'll just have the shifter bit here. Because we've cut these here, what we're thinking of doing is we're gonna slot a bit of bar into here. It'll go over, bend over, and go into there. We'll weld that up just to make it nice and structural. We're gonna put the motor back in now. It should fit 100%. We'll put it in, and then we're gonna put my old hybrid manifold on and this turbo on just to mock it up, see what the motor's gonna look like in the chassis with a manifold and turbo. Should be pretty sick. And we're also gonna talk about what we're doing with Anthony's rear end. We went and picked up a new diff and axles the other day. Bit of a change of plans with the rear end, but it's gonna be a bit of a mission to sort it. It's gonna be so worth it in the end though. It's gonna be absolutely bulletproof. But yeah, we'll get to that in a bit. First, let's get this motor in.
I've done it. Professional, mate. I am the mechanic.
Big mechanic guy.
Big mechanic guy. Big titanium guy.
Big sporty boy.
The Boogie Warner. The Boogie Warner, should I say. Practically on there. May have a few boost leaks.
That looks fat. Yes, you're in it.
Fit the old 4-inch. We also won't have a gate in the way there. Plenty of room.
Tons. It's such a huge freaking downpipe.
Yeah, well, the well needed all the flow it could get for that mighty 677 horsepower.
Yeah, nah, this looks sick. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the rear end that is going to be going into Anthony's S14. The other day, we went and picked up a complete Turbo 300 ZX rear end. This is an R230 diff. R200s are R200s because they have a 200mm ring gear. R230 has a 230mm ring gear, which is like equivalent to 9 inches, eh?
It's just over 9 inches.
Just over 9 inches. These are pretty much just as strong as a Ford 9-inch. If you guys know anything about like drag racing, that's what you want. We have to do a bit of fuckery to try and get this diff to work in this car. It's not as simple as like a 350Z diff where they just have bushes that you can just buy, offset bushes, and it just goes right in. We are going to have to make some modifications to the subframe to get this to work, but it's going to be worth it because these diffs are indestructible. Here it is, and right off the rip you can see pretty much why they're so strong. So this is your standard R200 diff. This comes in all Nissans essentially, GDSTs. The only difference is they use 5x1 axle stubs and 5x1 axles, but the diffs themselves are exactly the same. And yeah, you can see just how much bigger this R230 diff is compared to the R200, and it weighs quite a bit more, eh?
It's a heavy diff.
It uses similar axles to a GDR 6x1, and I think they're the same sort of spline in the hub as well, or maybe even bigger. The axles are even beefier than GDR ones. Here's the axle here. This is the 6x1 for it, and here we have a 3x2 R200 axle. The main shafts don't look too different on camera, but in person this is definitely quite a bit thicker. You can see the spline for it is quite a lot bigger than the R200, and the cups as well are a lot beefier. So Anthony is not going to have any issues with blowing axles or diffs. His goal was like 550 horsepower, which you can run R200s with that kind of power, but he's not going to have any issues, especially if you drive rough.
Yeah, no more blowing axles and ruining diffs straight away.
So pretty much what do we got to do to the subframe to make this stuff work? I know you've been doing a bit of research and looking up about it.
So we're going to pretend this is a R200 subframe. It's a Z32 subframe. So what we're going to have to do to make it fit is we're going to have to essentially cut it out from about here, right around, and make up our own mounts for it. At the back of the subframe, we're going to have to cut these out, plate it off, and drill out our new holes for the back of the diff.
So this is the typical 2-bolt R200 sort of spacing, and it's a lot wider.
And we're also going to have to work out exactly how much higher or lower, I can't remember which way it is, that the diff's going to have to sit.
Because the diff is a bit wider, the axles are the same length as these ones. This one looks a bit longer because this is a, I think, driver's side one and this is a passenger side one, or might be the other way around, but either way the axles are the same length, but the diff itself is a little bit wider. So
it's about 40 mil wider.
Yeah.
Was it 20, 40, somewhere around there. It's wider, so
Yeah.
we're going to have to get a stagier subframe.
Yep. Yeah, so if anyone's out there has a stagier subframe that they want to sell us, hit us up because we're going to be keen to buy it.
And another good thing with this diff is the correct ratio that I need to suit the Navarro box. It is a 3.7. So Joel was saying to me the other day, it's sort of that ratio is sort of a lot like a big box with this ratio diff correct.
Yeah, so like a good way to think about it is a Navarro box with a 3.7 is pretty similar to what a big box would be with like a 4.1 or a 4.0, similar to what I've got now.
Yeah, that's mint because anything over that, you just run out of legs. Especially like in the Laurel, I had a 4.1 in it, and
That was a 4.3.
It was 4.3. That was just limmy.
Yeah.
And wheel spin, and wasn't very fun to drive.
First gear was an absolute waste of time. As soon as you let your foot off the clutch, you were doing like 2,500, 3,000 RPM. Like it was just completely useless.
Pretty much, it was just first, second,
So,
and then
no.
it was second, pause, third. It wasn't very good.
Yep, so this is going to work sweet. It's going to be real strong. He's going to have such a solid drivetrain with this fully built RB25 Det Neo, worked as billet gears, collar, forged internals, all the head work. We are still going to be going down to size and turbo because he does want to be running about 550 horsepower on high boost. Navarro box, R230 rear. It's going to be a pretty stout car. Rear mount radiator. I'm getting excited for this build. It's definitely starting to come together now.
He's getting jealous, not excited.
No, I am excited. I'm excited to see it done and see you driving.
So,
Actual.
It's going to be a very well built car. It's going to put up with my shit, and that's the main thing. Can't wait.
It's pretty much going to wrap it up here, guys. A lot of work to be done on this car. In a couple of days, we're having these side windows taken out by a professional because we want to keep those in good nick. Thursday, Angus is coming by to do some more work on the cage. He'll be here Thursday and Friday. And then once we get some more of the cage work done that ties into the wheel well here, just to keep the car a bit more structural, we're going to cut out all of the rear parcel tray, do all the stitch welding around the top, and then start working on the rear mount radiator setup, rear tube setup, front tube setup. It's going to be sick. Anyway, that is going to wrap it up here. I am going to stop rambling on. It's like 10 o'clock. I want to have a shower and go to bed. I'm sure you want to do the same.
I want to have a feed and go to bed.
Yep.
Yeah, it's late. I'm tired.
Catch you guys in the next one.